I'll never forget the way my mother's voice cracked with disappointment as she said, "Sarah, why can't you be more like your brother and sister? You've always been the family disappointment." Those words echoed in my ears for years. I was the youngest of three, the one who never quite fit. While my brother excelled in academics and my sister shone in every competition, I struggled with everything. School felt like a constant battle. Report cards filled with C's and D's. Teachers saying I was not living up to my potential. At family gatherings, the comparisons never stopped. My father would proudly boast about my siblings' achievements while I sat quietly in the corner, trying to disappear. "Sarah is, well, she's still figuring things out," he would say with a heavy sigh. I smiled on the outside, but inside I was shattered. I started believing I really was the disappointment they saw. After high school, when my siblings went off to top universities, I stayed behind. My parents said investing in my education would be throwing money away. So I took whatever jobs I could find, cleaning offices at night, folding clothes in a retail store during the day. But even in my darkest moments, a small voice inside me refused to stay silent. I had always been curious about technology. While the world slept, I taught myself coding from free online videos. It was slow and frustrating, but it was the only thing that made me feel alive. I poured my heart into building something of my own, a simple inventory management app for small shops. No one knew. I worked on it for years in secret, afraid of their judgment. The breaking point came during my sister's engagement celebration. The house was full of laughter and pride. Everyone was congratulating my siblings on their perfect lives. Then someone asked about me. My father shook his head and said loudly, "Sarah? She's still trying to find her way. She's always been the weak link in the family." The room went quiet for a moment before they quickly changed the subject. I stood there frozen, feeling completely exposed. That night I drove home in tears, my heart broken into pieces. I felt so small, so worthless. For weeks I couldn't sleep. The pain was overwhelming. I questioned everything, my dreams, my abilities, even my right to exist. But in that deep darkness, something powerful began to shift inside me. I decided their words would no longer define me. I threw myself completely into my app. I worked day and night, fixing bugs, improving features, and learning marketing from scratch. I sacrificed vacations, social life, and even my health. There were many moments I wanted to give up, but I kept going. Slowly, the app started gaining users. Then small businesses began recommending it. Within months, it caught the attention of larger companies. What began as a quiet side project suddenly exploded into something much bigger. But I still didn't tell my family. I wanted them to see the truth with their own eyes. One sunny afternoon, almost 3 years later, I pulled up to my parents' house in a luxury car. In my hands was the proof I had waited so long to show them. When I walked inside, my family looked surprised. My mother hugged me lightly and asked, "Sarah, is everything okay?" I asked everyone to sit down in the living room. My brother and sister were visiting that day too. The same room where I had been labeled the disappointment so many times. I took out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned the screen toward them. The balance read $47,256,000. The silence was deafening. My father's face went pale. My mother's eyes filled with tears. My siblings stared in complete disbelief. With a calm but steady voice I said, "You called me the family disappointment my whole life. Today, this disappointment is worth over $47 million. No one spoke. Tears rolled down my mother's cheeks. My father looked down, unable to meet my eyes. I didn't shout or rub it in their faces. I simply told them I had forgiven their words, but I had used that pain to become stronger. The doubt they placed on me became the fuel for my success. As I left that house, I felt an incredible sense of peace. The weight I had carried for years finally lifted. Sometimes the people closest to us hurt us the most with their doubt. But that pain can become our greatest power if we choose to rise above it. Never let anyone's opinion of you become your reality. The greatest revenge isn't anger or revenge, it's quietly becoming everything they never believed you could be. If you've ever been the family disappointment, know this: your story isn't over. Your comeback might be closer than you think.